The Kalai were a sapient, avian species from the planet Kalai's. They were approximately humanoid in shape, and while other species of sapient birds had either wings or arms, the Kalai had both, which made them similar to the Alashanians in silhouette. Their bodies were covered in feathers, and their plumage was a mix of blue, gray, and orange. They had long, curved talons on their hands and feet, sharp, eagle-like beaks, and bright, intelligent eyes. The Kalai were by and large a humble people, and they got along well with other flying species. Somehow, despite being birds, the Kalai could reproduce with humans, which resulted in a hybrid species called the Lethago. The Lethago were tall and thin, with sharp noses, pointed chins, and severe eyes, but they did not have feathers or wings. The Kalai's homeworld, Kalai's, was located deep within the Phosphora Belt Nebula in the Outer Rim. It was, as one astrocartographer put it, as close to a paradise as a volcanic planet could be. Its surface was rich in valuable metals, which were constantly being dredged up by the Pier Dracons, or fire drakes, that lived in its mantle and core. The Kalai made great use of these metals, forging beautiful artworks, sturdy buildings, and elegant, durable starships. When the Empyrean Wars broke out, the Kalai refused to sit idly by while their beloved galaxy fractured. They aligned themselves with the Judicious, a collection of species, planets, and cultures who had decided to fight the forces of darkness directly. Using their talents for smithing and metalwork, the Kalai repurposed their forges to make armor, weapons, and battleships. The Kalai battleships, which were more like space stations, were named Phoenixes, a highly appropriate name given that they were built by a race of birds who came from a planet of fire. Together with other winged members of the Judicious, the Kalai led armies of avian warriors to different worlds where they clashed with winged enemies. Among the most prominent of these enemies were the Stenax, a humanoid flying species from the planet Stenos. The Stenax were a flying subspecies of the Maldaunt, who looked like demons and had attitudes to match. The Stenax were tall and muscular, with skin the color of red wine, leathery bat-like wings, bony protrusions on their arms, legs, and backs, and fearsome claws. They were vicious and cruel, and they showed no mercy to the worlds they besieged. Luckily, the Kalai showed no mercy to them. During the Second Cosmic War, the War of the Temporal Planes, the Kalai began building a new fleet of starships called the Zaxxon ships, which were designed by the Nidarian-esque Zaxax. The Zaxxon ships would go on to be used against the Abominor, the traitorous, malevolent creations of the noble Silentium. Throughout the Cosmic Wars, the Kalai scored many victories against the Stenax, Maldaunt, and other enemies. Courageous, honorable, and ruthless against evil, they did the galaxy a great service time and time again. Tragically, the Kalai were neither invincible nor infallible, and after the war, a small faction of Kalai, who were utterly traumatized and blamed humans for the war, set their sights on the Lethagos, whom they deemed abominations for their half-human natures. The faction attempted to wipe out the Lethagos by attacking the planet Sol, which was populated by Lethagos and humans, but thankfully, they failed. The repentant Kalai then made peace with their hybrid offspring, taking them back to Kalai's with them. In the centuries that followed, the Kalai became isolationists, rarely, if ever, leaving their home planet. By the time of the Galactic Empire and the Galactic Civil War, the rest of the galaxy had forgotten what the Kalai looked like, leading to rumors that they were perhaps living shadows or telepathic balls of fire. The only people who knew who the Kalai were and what they really looked like were the Lithagos, who acted as ambassadors for their Kalai parents aboard the strange, isolated space station Zertran's Anchor. The Kalai were first mentioned in Zertran's Anchor, an article published in the February 1995 edition of the role-playing magazine Star Wars Adventure Journal. In the article, the Kalai were described as a mysterious species of observers, with the only conclusive fact known about them being their relationship with the Lithago. Most of the information in this video comes from Supernatural Encounters by Joe Bongiorno, as well as its surrounding supplementary material. The fact that the Kalai are metalworkers is interesting to me, because in the real world, Kalai is an ancient Indian method of coating copper or brass vessels in tin to make them stronger and non-toxic. The Kalai were pretty easy to design. They're birds, they're humanoid, they wear armor, so I had a pretty clear idea of what they'd look like early on, compared to other species like the Muabine or the Corel. The hard part was deciding what type of scene to draw, but once I learned about the Steenax, I knew exactly what I wanted to draw. I decided to take inspiration from paintings of archangels fighting demons, to portray a sort of war in heaven between a Kalai and a Steenax. And now, here is the finished piece. I wanted this drawing to look more dynamic than other drawings I've done, and I think I achieved that. Fun fact, the colors, patterns, and markings on this Kalai's armor were inspired by the Pokémon Xatu. The armor itself was inspired by Renaissance depictions of Saint Michael the Archangel. That's all I have to say about this piece, so until next time, peace out and may the Force be with you. This is Jonathan, signing off.